The Inner Hebrides are a wild group of islands. Good for wildlife, amazing for wildlife, and good for wild walked-up shooting. They are where many of the UK's massive migrant population of woodcock and snipe come every winter, and so do wild shooters. Calvert, who is originally from Northern Ireland, and Luise, who was born in Denmark, live in Aberdeenshire. Their idea of a romantic weekend away is to pack dogs and guns, drive to a self-catering holiday let with some marsh behind it, and spend their days out looking for woodcock and snipe.
I basically walked up woodcock over the dogs. Got a snipe. How it was just, I was in the middle of a bunch of bushes and I just saw the flash of it go out. And I could roughly tell by the devastation on the bushes that the snipe was somewhere in the pattern. I couldn't see it, but thank heavens you saw the fall of the snipe when it came out. It's the most fantastic sport, and you do have time. It's a bit like float fishing, where you just watch the float and the dog's the float. When the float stops, the dog stops. It's the same thing. We've got something in there.
I've got a HPR, which is the wire-head Whistler, and I've got an English setter. They are slightly different in that, in general, the setter will hunt point, maybe flush, but they're not fantastic with retrieving. Some people make them retrieve, but and he can, but it's not very successful. The HPR, the hunt point retriever, European breed, will do the same hunt and point, will also flush, and then they should sit to the flush and the fall, mark the fall, and then go and retrieve. So that's the sort of slight difference between the two. So ideally, the easiest is to walk into the wind, and they quarter in front of you and pick up scent, and then they locate the bird and stop on point, and you get a chance to load your gun, close your gun, get up there, and give the command to flush the bird.
I'm not here for pheasants, not here for partridge, but you do need to shoot one every hour just to keep the dog interested. Otherwise, it's just like a training exercise. If we can't find woodcock, the dog just hunts and suddenly gets up, not shot.
The setter, Roy, as you saw, had his whole face down in the bracken, and I thought he needed to see it dead.
When he is on point, the setter draws in air through his mouth and appears to be tasting it for game.
They must draw the scent in and let it flush through the mouth to get all the olfactic nerves testing the scent. They only do it on point. You can see the cheeks going like that. Fascinating.
The setter, Roy, tends to range further in his hunt, and despite his visible whiteness, he carries a beeper on his collar which starts to beep when he stops on point. That helps shooters find him in the thick rushes. It's not long before we get on to our first woodcock. Calvert is quick on the draw. You have probably spotted the sea in the background. The couple are shooting on the island of Luing in the Inner Hebrides. It's a blowy day, which makes the birds even more exciting to shoot. The only problem is that continental Europe has not yet had the hard frosts that drive the woodcock across the North Sea and eventually to the warm west coasts of the UK and Ireland. There is a pheasant shoot here, as gamekeeper Darren Smith explains.
I come here in 2019 to set up the pheasant and partridge shooting. It's growing year on year, and it's quite a big thing now. Like, it's probably the main thing we do here. We do a bits with red deer stalking, a bit of the woodcock, which we're after the day, and it's a busy enough thing. It keeps me going. We do 20-25 days a year. Ranging 150 to 250, we don't really go much over that. No cover crops, it's a lot of willow bushes, bracken banks, heather, and just rashes and grass, yes.
It is lovely shooting by the sea. The wildlife watching is as good as the shooting. How often do you see this many herons? A sea eagle flies over and then lands, causing consternation for the local geese. Darren says the pheasants are spectacular here.
This is what we call the Devil's Bay drive. This one here is probably one of our signature drives. It's probably, like I was just saying to you there, there's probably even less cover on this one than any other drive. It's probably, most of it's like this, and the birds are climbing off of here and then heading out to sea, and it's pretty spectacular drive.
This must count alongside any of those kind of great seaside cliff drives in the country.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, put it this way, we had a team in here this season, 360 shots, 14 birds, so and it was nothing as windy as this today, like, so aye, they're pretty well up there.
Darren helps us walk up the Woodcock, and what we are starting to see a lot of today, the snipe.
Snipe as well, we'll get a few snipe, but they're a bit strange as snipe. Some days you'll go out and you'll see a barrel load of snipe, then the next day there's nothing, like, so.
Then it is time to drive on to another part of the island. One family owns the whole place, including the self-catering lodges, so there's no worrying about straying over a border onto someone else's ground.
We were here last year, and what we're going to do is go down here over the brow where there were quite a few willow bushes and stuff last year, and well, the willow bushes will be here still this year, and hopefully like last year there'll be woodcock in them. It's really, really windy and exposed, so we'll just give it a go.
You can see in the cowpats where waders have been probing for worms, waders like woodcock and snipe. These are not just any cowpats. They are from a modern breed called Luing cattle, first bred by the island's owner. Here is his grandson.
The Luings obviously started on here. Grandparents bought the island in 1947 after the war, and they began to establish a breed they wanted to cross. Well, they didn't actually start with the intention of wanting to establish a new breed, but it went that way in the end. And what they did was they crossed beef shorthorn, a good high-yielding cow, native breed, with a Highland to give it this ruggedness. And they wanted it to be able to be a cow that would do very well in very adverse weather conditions.
It has been a popular cattle breed, especially in the last 20 years. Time for one more bird before we stop for the day.
Bit of ground we just finished going through. Last year there had been a woodcock or two woodcock under every third bush. I think we ended up with 8 or 9 just in that wee bit last year. But hunting migratory birds is like hunting migratory fish. You should have been here last week.
When she orders her wire-haired visitor to flush the birds, Luise has an unusual command. I ask her to explain it.
The hot point retriever needs to hunt point and flush. And often they get a bit sticky, but a very good way of making them go is you train up by going, you could say Smeagol, and then they learn that. But of course, because her name is Smeagol, her command is my precious. Okay, it makes sense to me.
Back at the Cadzo's luxury Nissen huts where Luise and Calvert are staying, Luise tells me about the company she runs, Tuffies, which has been making dog beds in Aberdeenshire since the year 2000.
I just started as fixing horse rugs, and someone said, could you not make me a really good dog bed out of these tough barbed wire proof materials? And I did, and it kind of started there.
For more about Tuffy's dog beds, we have put a film on Field Tester, link below. We end the day with a small but perfectly sized bag. I didn't realise it until I asked them, but shooting this many birds is essential to Calvert and Luise's enjoyment of their trips.
We come into a routine of buying food for the first night and then chicken for the dogs for sustenance. The chicken is also punishment chicken. If we don't shoot anything, we'll have to eat the farm chicken. So we haven't had to have chicken yet.
No, we've
but
been blackbird twice and thrush once.
You can find out about shooting on the island of Luing on gunsonpegs.com, and Tuffy's is at tuffys.co.uk. Both of those links below.